Peace, family. I am Chi Vital, and I'm back with another tool for your toolkits and how to create your lives. Welcome, welcome. I'm talking about this new moon in Cancer. We are officially into the activation of the new moon in Cancer. This is a glorious time. And for those of you who are wanting to do your new moon rituals and you haven't started yet, you're in luck. Because the worst thing you could have done was started yesterday, okay? There is a method to the madness. How do we manifest properly? Utilizing the support from the universal flow. What up, what up, what up? How y'all doing? As you tune in, drop the hearts in the chat, drop the money bags and the new moons, thumbs up this video, and please let me know if you can hear me and see me clearly so that we can have a very smooth time as I reveal the messages for the collective. Shouts out to all the House of Chi light beams. Shouts out to the Occult College. Shouts out to all my Nagas. Shouts out to all my fairies. Y'all already know what it is. What up, family? What's up? What's up? Y'all should already know by now that one of my most favorite topics to talk about include working with the planetary alignments and finding a way to work smarter, not harder. So welcome, welcome. All right. I'm waiting for the notifications to push out. I made a few changes and we'll see how that goes. I have a dope assignment for you all to continue in this energetic of forward movement and upliftment and making sure that everybody is positioning themselves to be in that flow. All right, welcome, welcome. Peace, Lupita. Peace, Vasuki, Corley. Peace, Joisha, Precious Gift. What's up? What's up? Give everybody a moment to jump on here. How's everybody doing? Where's everyone tuning in from in the chat? What's up, y'all? Has anyone already started their new moon rituals? Everybody like the video and let everyone know that I'm live. Let everyone know that I'm live. I'm going to check and make sure that we straight. Yes. By now, you all should have some fresh outfits for your rituals, especially working in this energy. We are going to be working with the moon. We're working with Lakshmi. And most of all, you'll be working with your higher guidance. And I'm going to explain to you how to absolutely tap in to this energy. All right. All right, so let's get started. So for those of you who are scared of doing the inner work, y'all probably are going to run away. If you're afraid of doing inner work, this video is probably not for you, okay? Because there is a portion of correction necessary, and we're seeing it play out in the news. It's not like it's going to skip you, okay? So I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that and maintain your sovereignty, maintain your power positions while you do this work. But only for those of you who are ready to do this kind of work. So the first message, I had to go in and do a collective pull on energy to find out what were some of the key points to help you all tailor your rituals for this particular time period. We have the new moon that fulfilled itself, or we met in the new moon at around 6:30 this morning, Eastern Standard Time. And the reason why I began this video by saying, you're in better luck if you are starting your new moon ritual tonight moving forward as opposed to last night, is because right before we move into a new cycle, especially as we're in that waning energy, you are moving kind of prematurely to plant anything before you allow all of the things that you needed to let dissipate and to move away from you to go. So you want to allow the energy to have a clean passage. Trying to plant anything new with really strong roots, making sure that the earth and your intentions are well planned out and planted for the future. It's in those final hours that some of the most powerful aha moments come and some of the most powerful confirmations come. And it's important that you wait for the right timing in order to start something new or to capitalize on something that you are building long term. Okay? When you're working with any of the planetary movements, note that moment where it's going to pivot, especially from one, what is it called? 1 degree, right? The final degrees and the first degrees of any particular house is where it's most potent. Okay? So the energy is really fresh. The energy is positive, and that's a good way to start. All right, that's definitely a good way to start. Because while you're in this, it's better to sit with this first portion of reflection before you get to making your necessary decisions moving forward, than to skip this altogether. Okay? All right. So what am I talking about? The first message received for this particular energetic is that ultimately each and every one of you is perfect. Okay? We know that. Your soul is already perfect. How you show up is already perfect. And as a spiritual being, you are also having this human experience. And what you have agreed to when you decided to incarnate into this human experience are a couple of things. You, one, wanted to learn something. Two, you wanted to experience something. You wanted to expand in that experience. And three, you wanted to evolve. Okay, I'm putting expansion and experience in the same category, because in order for you to expand in anything, you have to be touching it. You have to be experiencing it. So you got three things. You came here to learn, to experience and expand, and three, to evolve. Now, for those of you who are not wanting to be, tied down or limited by particular words, I'm using the word evolve for that very exact reason. Some people want to ascend, and in their mind, it means that they're going higher in some form or fashion. And that's not for everybody. Some people already accept that they are at their highest level. They're self-actualized. And so there's no evolving. I mean, there's no ascension. They're not looking to go through any particular gnosis. Gnosis being they want to experience their life as God. Okay? They're seeking to connect with that experience. Now, when I use the word evolve, it's all inclusive, because for those who want to evolve, that just means that you want to become better than what you already are. That means whatever it is that you came to learn, you came here not to just, pick up some skills, but you came to master those particular lessons so that you can leave them behind and do more satisfying things. Hopefully, what you're working towards evolving or mastering is satisfying to you, because you remember that you came here to evolve. You came here to learn something. It is particularly boring and stagnant to come here and not learn anything. So if you find yourself really clinging to your comfort zones, you find yourself trying to keep on doing the same thing over and over again, you might as well just open the door to the big fat wolf called depression and say, come lay with me every day, because that's how I want to live my life, because that's boring and your energy is going to get flat when you continue to stay in the same energy all the time. You're not reaching to learn anything. You're not trying to go into other things that are available to you in other dimensions, because you just want to stay comfy. Again, if you want to stay comfy in a sense where you just want to go where you already know what's going to happen, you already have everything super planned out, you want to have everything like this cookie cutter type of lifestyle, it's not necessarily for you. Right? It's not. So what the message brings me forward to share with you all, what my guides wanted me to bring forward to you all, was that there actually is a moment of deep inner reflection for you to go ahead and ask your guides. Okay. And if you don't trust your guides, because maybe you're new to this work and you have not cultivated or refined them in the way that they provide you insights, okay, protection and wisdom, all right, then work with some of the gods or goddesses that you've activated, because they already have been venerated. They already are receiving a lot of energy from millions of people. And so the information that comes through them may be something that you feel more confident on in relying on. Make sense? All right. Press 1 in the chat if this makes sense so far. So now, what you're calling on them for is to ask them to point you in the direction of where you may have made an error. An error or a mistake, even in your perfection, an error or a mistake means that somewhere down the line up until this point, and time is an illusion, okay? So we utilize time to give ourselves some type of relationship to this planet, okay? But for the sake of your meditation, where you are seeking to know where you may have made a mistake, okay, means that not that you're a bad person, not that you're an effed up individual and you suck, okay? This is not for that. This work is not to berate yourself. This work is not to bring your vibration down. This work is what is required of the royals. If you want to perfect your leadership, if you want to perfect your ability to maintain and sustain wealth and prosperity in all aspects of your life, you have to have these meetings with these energetic higher ups who can see beyond the tricks and the illusions that your ego may have done, the traumas and the dramas of your human experience. Okay? But it takes intention on your behalf to be able to sit and listen without blocking yourself from the information that's necessary for you to make a better decision. A mistake means that there may have been, and according to what I pulled, there definitely has been a particular perception, okay, or an action that has been out of integrity with who you really are. Write that down. This mistake is not about being right or wrong according to any status quo, any particular law, any rule at all. This mistake has everything to do with what keeps you in integrity with your authentic self, your soul. Make that very clear in your journals. For those of you who are members of the House of She Patreon, there is a ritual that will be available to you exactly after this video completes itself. And you want to have these notes, because when you go in, quite often, when we're seeking to understand what kind of error or mistake we've made, the first thing that shows up is the ego. So there's a defensive nature that's going to come forward, and perhaps a desire to find somewhere to place blame. So I want you to first go in with the understanding, the proper understanding of what a mistake is. Your perception was off. Your judgment was off. Off meaning out of alignment with what is true to your being. For example, you may have decided to let's say you decided to not talk to a particular person because someone else, okay, convinced you that in order for you to be successful in whatever it is, you cannot talk to that particular person. And during that time, when you made that decision, there was a lot of drama being played out. Okay? One of the clues that's going to help you really hone in on where your perception was off is if you can take a microscope and look back at the memories you have where there was a lot of chaos going on. Because it's during the chaos that a lot of emotions are flying around. A lot of survival mode type of decisions are being made, and ignorance is taking the forefront. So where you're feeling like there's some type of disconnect or resistance between what your heart is telling you, what your mind is telling you, what's going to remove that block so you have proper harmony between the two, is sitting in meditation and one, asking for clarity. Where was your perception off? Another thing, integrity. Integrity, again, has nothing thing, nothing to do with anybody else. Integrity has everything to do with you feeling complete in the way that you're moving. You feeling all the way like yourself. Now, I get it. If some of you are still in a position of trying to figure out and anchor in who you are. Who am I really? I'm here and I am working towards getting clearer about who I am. Now, if that isn't clear to you, you have another level of work to do, but this should help you. Okay? If this is not deep enough for you, there's plenty of shadow work videos available here, communication style videos here, planetary videos available, mantras, yantras, rituals. Y'all already know. A large portion of you all are here from the Occult College, right? And that's the focus there is the magic. But when the magic is truly hidden, it's also going to help refine you as a human being and as a soul journeyer. That's what I'm gonna call you, a soul journeyer, because your soul, your spirit is on a particular mission. Now that mission can change at any time, but for the most part, your soul doesn't change. You chose this particular soul print for this journey here on earth. The things that you can do, if you really work at it and you're not afraid to deal with the consequences of switching up your codes, okay? What you can do is refine yourself so that you can become smarter about how you move. And smarter always means that you're able to get to your chosen outcome with less debris, less hardship. You know, some people might want to call it wisdom, but I don't know. That's a very general term. So we clear, press 1 in the chat if we're clear about what your initial meditation is going to be before you get to doing anything else. All right? The mistake, the actions and the perceptions that were not in alignment with who you truly are. That's all. Not because someone else said you made a mistake. Not because you were watching your favorite show or, you know, someone you look up to and you're like, oh, I didn't do something like them, so I'm off. No. This particular alignment, this new moon in Cancer, really is a homecoming for you as a spirit, as a consciousness. It's a deep homecoming and realignment with what is home to you. What is really nourishing to your spirit so that you can be successful, victorious in what you came here to do. That makes sense? Now, the reason why you want to be shown where you may have made this particular error is because you are now, after you see it, this is where you challenge these guides. This is where you weed out the imposters from the wise guidance. You ask them to show you the remedy. Write that down. One form of filtering out between the imposter spirits that see your candlelight, see you tuning in to the spiritual guidance that you walk around with, who want to come and talk and gossip and bring you all kind of unnecessary BS. Okay, noise. They're going to bring you noise. They're going to bring you noise. They're bored. They're trying to have a little piece of human action. Okay? You're going to ask them to reveal to you the remedy. Someone write that down. My higher guidance system has the ability to reveal to me the remedy to any challenge I am facing. From where they are, they can see. If they are always with you, if they are omnipotent, omnipresent, then they were there at the time when you made that particular error. And they were able to record when you made that error because they were watching, which means they are cognizant of how you should have moved in that particular situation or scenario. Now, I understand that some of you have the ability to go so far back that you are seeing yourself where you made an error in another lifetime. Press 1 in the chat if you have that ability, where you go into meditation and you're looking for solutions, and what you end up seeing in your dreams or in your mind's eye when you're meditating is a version of yourself from a whole nother timeline. Press 1 in the chat. And so, this brings me back to what I said earlier, is that time in itself, that linear time, is an illusion. So do not discredit when your higher guidance system reveals to you any particular mistakes or errors that you may have made, but what you're seeing does not look like anything you've experienced here within this lifetime. That in itself will be an error. You got me? You having that ability is really powerful, because practicing it strengthens the ability, so that the next time, if you are to incarnate, it's that much easier for you to do, to clear particular karmic retribution that is occurring that you're dealing with. Not only would it be easier, but it will come to you earlier in life. Some of you are further along in your lifetime, and you're wondering, why the hell did I not get this information back when I was younger, had a bunch of energy, my knees weren't hurting me, I had hours on hours to just bullshit my life. Why didn't I have these tools then? As you're cultivating yourself and practicing these skills now, these teachings, these meditations, these mantras, these skills, these tools, they will be revealed to you much earlier, so that you can have more time spent enjoying your life than having time trying to figure life out. Can I get an ashe? All right. So this is the preliminary meditation for how you're going to move into this new moon ritual. Okay, so let me now break down these 5 areas for you to focus on. Press 1 in the chat if you're ready to take these notes down. Okay. So number 1, your primary focus, if you're wanting to tap into the flow of the universe so that you can work smarter, not harder, and jump into that flow state, your primary focus needs to be on where you actually belong, not from a place of obligation, not from a place of comfort, but where do you belong from a place of soul resonance? Write that in the chat. Soul resonance. Okay? And when we use the word resonance, we're absolutely moving into vibration, frequency, language of the stars, language of chemistry, chemicals. Okay? Your soul resonance gives you a sense of authentic belonging. Here's the thing. With your authentic belonging, it doesn't mean that it's the most comfortable. You can absolutely, I'll give you a very personal example. I belong to a family that is very, very honest. Okay? Coming from a family like that, there are many, many uncomfortable conversations. However, I know from a soul place, my soul's vibration, that being amongst other soul beings that are that honest is actually authentic to my soul. It is where I experience the most bliss, even in the discomfort. Does that make sense? Because I want you to be very clear that resonance doesn't come from a place of ease because everything just goes the way that your mind says it should go. It comes from a place of ease because every single note in your song, in the song of your life, has a meaning, a purpose towards you learning, expanding, and evolving. There is nothing enjoyable or fulfilling or satisfying about being in a particular place in life where you're so comfortable that there's nothing spontaneous about life any longer for you to experience. It's like eating the same meal every single day. Every single day. Same spices, same colors, same recipe. Meanwhile, you came here to learn, expand, and evolve. So if the way that this particular recipe is being made has any flaws in it whatsoever, or is missing something, so that you can experience another, an unlock another gift that is within you, within your natal treasure chest, you would be missing it. You might have the meal, you'll eat, but even at some point of eating, you won't feel full, you won't feel fulfilled. So you want to sit and choose where you belong from a place of soul resonance. If you want to become mega wealthy and you feel it in your soul, you feel obsessed about it, you feel driven about it, your soul resonance is going to be amongst others who also want to operate that way, where the sweat and the consistency and the walls that you're going to hit, the insecurities you might feel, the leaps you have to take, the sacrifices you need to make in order to become this mega wealthy individual, your soul is going to be okay with those things. Your soul, in fact, is going to reach into places unbeknownst to you at times to give you the energy to push through so that you can accomplish that, because that's where it resonates. That's what turns it on. You know, science still has not completely figured out what turns on a particular genome to express itself. The soul already knows what is going to open up, what it has inside of itself. The soul already knows what's going to trigger a particular thing to open up. But it's such a mystery that it requires you to go into these sacred places or meditation, deep meditation, utilize plant medicine to help you open up aspects of your brain function to see beyond the physical brain and tap into your higher intelligence. So this is your soul resonance. If you are a person who absolutely is driven by a life of ease, like this might sound crazy, but like you literally, like you're, all you think about is being in a dream state, being in nature, talking to trees and animals. And that's all. That's like, anytime you think about that, you're like, your imagination just goes all the way to the end of the edge of the earth, if that were to be a real thing. It won't matter to you that you're going to have to rough it in the middle of the forest. It won't matter to you that you won't be wearing beautiful gowns and lots of clothes and have a lot of things. It will be your soul resonance to be a minimalist, because you need to be able to pick up and go. It will be in your souls. It will resonate with your soul to get really in deep into horticulture, to learn how to grow your own food. You see what I'm saying? So don't allow, when you're going within to create your new moon, the seeds for your new moon ritual, don't allow social norms or incentives to decide for you what resonates with your soul. This is a major thing. This is actually a very difficult place to be at, because the collective consciousness is like, let me explain how strong it is. I don't know how many of you have had this fun experience, but I have as a child, where there's a bunch of us in the pool and we decide we're going to create some kind of whirlpool. So everyone get along the edge of the pool and we're going to go in a circle. We're going to walk in a circle in a particular direction. Okay? Now I want you to understand that as we're walking in the same direction and creating this whirlpool, and this vacuum in the center of the pool, all right, that is a collective consciousness when everyone is moving in the same direction. And then when we go, all right, stop going out the direction, you'll notice that it's hard. Collective consciousness is like the currency of the world. So it is hard to move against that, to find what's true to your soul. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm saying it's available to you, and that's all you really need, is to know that it's available so that you can open up your senses to see it, to feel it, to know it. Okay? This new moon is asking you to really take action on what is true to your soul. Being indecisive, on the fence, and not taking action is going to destroy you. Because everyone who has decided to take action towards what is authentic to their soul is going to get the biggest help from the universe ever seen in your lifetime. And you being too afraid to take those steps towards what is really resonating with your soul in an effort to stay comfortable, or in an effort to maintain the status quo amongst those who you think, right, or that position that you think is the end all be all, is going to hurt really badly. And so I'm giving you this warning now that it's important for you to accept who you are. Now, when I mentioned my family as an honest family, right, there's a characteristic that my soul resonates with. Within that honesty, okay, I'll also accept that there are aspects of myself that do not resonate with the blood family that I come from. And some of my ancestors are not on the same page either. But I am my own soul. As much as I'm connected to my ancestors, I am my own configuration of light. That makes sense? And so that's another piece of the social norm, or the pressures and obligations that you're going to have to put to the side during your meditation, so that you can make a decision based off of the big leap forward into what is really home to you. There's a lot of you present now that it took a lot of practice. It took a lot of pushing against the resistance of the social norms and the obligations of your family and your history to even switch up your spiritual practice. For some of you, even to switch up between working with Orishas to working with Vedic deities or Hindu deities. To go from working with deities to working with jinn, to go from working with jinn to working with the self, to go from working with the self to leaning on Olympic, like all the things that you've been exposed to and then what you've chosen to work with based off of your own soul's resonance. All of this, we're coming to this point now, right? What's the max lifetime? Let's say, we live between 80 to 100 years old. That ain't shit on this planet, okay? So if you already are into your 20s and your 30s, you're getting closer to the halfway point. And then really you are to that halfway point, because after a certain point in that journey, in your flesh journey, you ain't gonna be doing that much stuff. You want to be in a position where you ain't doing so much but what you enjoy. And so your life in itself is leisure. These are some of the facts that you want to look at so that you're making decisions now. Now, so you can take the right action. Okay? So in that first stage, you're wanting to create a covenant, an agreement, a soul contract that you are going to move forward in this proper alignment. Like you're giving your soul a chiropractic treatment, like get back in alignment, get back into integrity with what is you. You're going to create a covenant that moving forward, you're going to move along with other people who feel like home to your soul. You're no longer going to sit on the fence between should I go with this or should I go with that, being confused by expectations outside of what is true to your particular soul. You have to now find yourself at home. Bring it home. The new moon is in Cancer. Cancer is all about the home. It's all about nurturing. It's about what feels welcoming, what is hospitable, what is going to help you grow. There's a level of there's a divine feminine energy. With that being said, one of the remedies outside of what your higher guidance system provides you, okay, I'm going to give you a remedy that may help you to align even more quickly to the remedy. I'm going to give you one activity. Do something good for the divine feminine. Do something good, whether it's to go and buy your mother flowers, if it's to go and help out, a sister somewhere. Find that feminine energy and honor it, with the intention that you're aligning yourself with the remedy for where you've made an error. Just because the planetary alignments, these celestial bodies, support that. Honoring the divine feminine also includes things that are of that nature that may not be a man or a woman, not gender, but an energetic. So what are some of the feminine characteristics that you can honor? Is it rest? Is it a hot bath? Is it a very nutritious meal? Is it therapy? Is it having a conversation? You see what I'm saying? Okay, you got it? Okay. And so that second piece, after you make that covenant to be in resonance with your soul, is to make a decision, is to take action. take action. And that action is going to become evident to you what you need to do in conjunction with the remedy. Where was your perception off? Don't worry about what's going to happen afterwards, because a lot of worrying about what's going to happen after you decide to make the decision to be in alignment with your soul, that's the part that keeps you in the spell of loss, keeps you in the spell of living small, keeps you in the spell of mediocrity. And that's going to hurt more than the hurts that are necessary for you to level up. You know, how many times for those who are in the dating scene, how many times did you have to just pass up on somebody? Like, nope, that's a nope, that's a nope, that's a nope. Before you found someone that was in alignment with who you truly are. They fine as hell. Just that little small thing. That's not it. Oh, they got all the money. But they selfish. Oh, they got, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you are in, this is the same kind of energy. If you are out here wanting to align with your best life, you're going to have to pass up on certain things, knowing for a fact that you're in good standing with your soul. That's the way it is. And you cannot compare what you are in alignment with anybody else, which is going to bring me to the third thing, which is the major spotlight and challenge. Okay? The main challenge here with this energy during your self-reflection is that you're going to have to acknowledge where there has been an imbalance between the giving and the receiving in any area of your life. Because the rule is you are to give from your overflow. Okay? 2 rules in the giving and the receiving. In the giving, you give from your overflow. Where you have an abundance of something, that's where you give. Imagine what you have is like coffee in a cup. What you're giving is the coffee that's around the saucer. You're not giving what's inside the cup. That's for you to drink. What you're going to give is that overflow of coffee that's on the saucer. Okay? Where in your life have you started to pour from your cup to give out to anyone else? 2, when you're receiving, only receive and take what is given freely. Somebody write these things down in the chat. Hopefully, those of you who are watching this video on replay are able to see the chat. Only take what is being given freely. Because if you pay attention to that rule, if you've taken anything that was given with strings attached, you may be out of resonance with your soul because you are doing something in exchange for something you received that had stipulations. And so you've lost some of your sovereignty. And you will know if something was given freely by the way someone, let's say it's a someone gave you something, responds to you. Like, remember when I such and such for you? And you go, oh, because sometimes you don't see the strings attached. Okay? And it's not so much of a big deal of accepting something and knowing what the attachments are, if you're okay with the attachments. Because in itself, you may want those attachments, which means they're part of the gift, huh? But when you are in the receiving, but you're not okay or cognizant of the attachments, then you're going to have to do the work to drop it. And that is probably more scary for you all than the ones who are overgiving. The imbalances that exist include if you are leaning too hard on somebody else to provide for you what you should be providing for yourself. Not because you can't receive help from people. We're not alone here. But one, we cannot be receiving from everybody because not everyone is given freely according to your soul. Okay? Two, there absolutely are some things that you are supposed to learn how to obtain for yourself, expand in that, and then experience your evolution. But if you are not learning because you're leaning, then you're stunting your own growth. Does that make sense? Where you're not learning, you may be leaning too much. And so the adjustment that you need to make when you go back and you are observing and previewing your life for where there's an error, some kind of imbalance in the giving and the taking, is necessary for you to do that part. Because if you don't do that part, you'll be seeking your stability outside of yourself and forever on a crutch. And the longer you stay in that position is the more you're weakening yourself and you're going against your own nature, your own divine nature. You came here to learn, expand, and evolve. You know what it's called when you atrophy? That's not evolution. You're devolving. You're going backwards. You're regressing. So this third step in identifying any area where there's an imbalance, including your overgiving. Some of you lean on your overgiving as a control mechanism. And what you don't realize is that if you're sourcing your power from being able to overgive, when those people or situations learn how to expand and evolve without you, you will be obsolete and therefore powerless and drained. So don't think that because you're overgiving that you have the upper hand all the time. Being the overgiver does not necessarily always place you in a position of leverage. See, the more power that you have is the more power that you're going to desire. This is our human nature. So if you're putting so much emphasis on keeping someone dependent on you, you may have missed an opportunity to be of assistance to someone else who has something of greater value to position you with. This is why self-reflection, especially during this new moon time, after the new moon is activated and not right before it or at the moment of it, so that you can get that much more sharper in how you move forward. Okay? So the new frequency, this is stage 4. I told you I was going to be 5 stages. Stage 4, the new frequency is one of freedom being in play. Now, this is not a rebellion. Okay? This is not a rebellion. If you look at Trump, he's looking for everybody to chill out. Chill out. Because we're trying to get to the bag. And y'all doing the most. And you're costing us more money, creating more debt, and making it harder because we're gonna have to rebuild all the shit that you're destroying. Like, so this is not a rebellion. This is not an energy of rebellion. This is putting freedom into play. And in order for us to be free, we can't be trying to like destroy a bunch of stuff and think that we don't have to make, like, it takes energy to destroy, it takes energy to build. So now, when you know that freedom is in play, you're using all of the first 3 steps to vet, to filter what type of new beginning, even if you're starting, like, say you already got to a certain stage, anything you do to expand on that, to develop that, is another new beginning, right? Because you're going to level up. If you're starting at ground zero, it's a new beginning. So now you want to use this information that you're receiving during this time and utilizing the mantras I'm going to give you. And if you're on my Patreon, there's a ritual fully outlined for you, right? You're going to use this to help you drop whatever act that you're playing. Now, for those of you who like to be in your astrology bag, right? You got your ascendant and you have your sun sign. You have your rising sign, you have your sun sign. Your rising sign is the avatar, is the character that you're playing in this life. When you're doing this particular work, you're looking to see what your sun is doing. Because the more you evolve is the more you start to align with that solar aspect, your consciousness. Not the character that you're playing. You'll understand the character, but you can pick it up and put it down. But what you're trying to get to is your sun. What is actually attracting all of the experiences where you are playing this part. So you want to vet all of these ideas that you have, and you want to be in alignment with the ideas that allow you to be yourself. Because that's where freedom is where you can be yourself. You see, I'm going to bring up Trump again. Trump just dropped the F-bomb on national TV. Like, we got to see a president sound like your average corporate CEO when the employees and his executive team is not doing what the hell they're supposed to be doing. Trust and believe, there's a lot of expletives. But the only reason why he can do something like that is because that particular consciousness is moving in such a way that he lives the way he is. And there's freedom in that. No one can do anything to you when you've positioned yourself to be yourself. And so you're looking for the new beginning that supports that. 5, Once you have decided what particular new beginning you want to nurture, you're going to bring it all in. Okay? You're going to bring it all in, and you're going to be paying attention to your body. It doesn't matter if you're a Trump fan or not. That's the ego. The ego is going to worry about what's right or wrong with everybody else in comparisons. We're looking at particular characteristics and what's underneath that, what's guiding it. Because in the same way, if you wanted to be anything different from what a Trump is, you would have to tap into what's true to yourself. Be that, and watch how no one can challenge you for being yourself. In fact, you're going to attract more people who support you being you, which makes life all the more satisfying, because then you can truly live in what is called the flow state. That flow state is not from the mind. The flow state is where you get into a flow with your spirit, with your soul, and you are moving, and things are moving with you and supporting you, so it's easier. You see what I'm saying, Leah? So you want to pay attention to these things. Your body, your physical body. If your body is unhealthy, you need to make an adjustment, and you will know exactly what it is if you're going to play this game the honest way with yourself. Because this is not about calling up somebody and going, oh, I made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. What you come across might require you to have a conversation, but your initial conversation doesn't require that. Because this is not about beating yourself up. So your body, is your body relaxed? You could be as fine as you want to be fine, but are you relaxed? Are you comfortable? You could be fit and have pain in your body. These are facts. I work on people all the time who look amazing and have pain. Okay? And sometimes the pain is not physical, it is energetic. Your home. Is your home your physical home? Is your physical home a reflection of how you really want to live? Remember what I said. Some people, they genuinely don't, their wealth is like being off the grid. And what you will notice, try this, test my theory. There are people who would do way better living with way less in the middle of somebody's Amazon, who are living in a home filled with clutter. Filled with clutter. They got 1,001 books. They got clothes for every decade, for the last 3 decades, in all 4 seasons. They have shoes in every color. They got too much food in their refrigerator. And that same individual will be at peace with a couple of pieces of fabric, a river, a coconut tree, some bananas, some yams, some chickens running around, with none of that. And they can't figure out why they're so unsatisfied, because they've accumulated all of these things and it's not bringing them any real joy. In fact, it feels like a burden. And so they're traveling all the time. They pack a bag to travel. They pack and travel. They don't even want to be in that space. You know why? Because they want to go to hotel rooms that are empty with just that bag. But they haven't figured it out yet. Some of y'all watching this, that just made something very clear for you. The home is always looking like it's turning over, turning over, turning over. Press 1 in the chat if this makes sense. Test my theory. Test my theory. Okay? And so that's a conversation that you want to have with your higher ups. Hell, you have enough stuff packed into that home you keep running away from that you could just sell. Sell it. Sell it and look for some, some deals where you can buy a plot of land and start there. Okay? There's freedom in that. There's freedom in that realization. Self-realization leads you to self-actualization. First, you have to realize it in order to activate it, actualize it. Okay? Next, you want to look at your resources. You want to take a look at what is really in the bank, what is really underneath your mattress, what is really out in the world, what money do people owe you, what resources do you have, what licenses do you have, what degrees do you have, what's on your resume. These are all your resources. These are legitimate resources, finances, or ways of making money that are legit. I know some of y'all switched up your degrees and your lifestyles. You were a nurse and now you're a teacher, or you were a teacher and now you're an aerobics instructor, all of which require some type of license or degree. Look at them. What are your resources? What's really in your bank? Have you checked your cryptocurrency? Have you checked on your trust funds? Have you checked on your portfolio for your mutual funds? Have you reviewed your life insurance? Okay. And then lastly, you're going to review your time. And that's the kicker. Take a good look at where your time goes. What do you have time for? What do you need to take your time back from? Reclaiming my time. I'm reclaiming my time. And then you're going to reallocate that time towards something that's more in alignment, that resonates with your soul. If you spend too much time on a computer and you really want to be reading books that are out of print, then reclaim your time. The time that you're going to be on social media, go to your old bookstores and find those books. If you've been, wasting time looking at tutorials for the licenses that you already carry, but you really want to study something else, delegate your time now to study the new thing that is in alignment with your soul. And all of these things together are going to help to fortify you to create your own stability. Because in order to build anything, you have to have some form of stability. So if you review your finances and you realize, wow, I have more money than I realized, I actually don't need to maintain this loan. I can pay it off and clear one of my debts. Sometimes we're carrying credit balances over and over and over again because we're not looking at what we really have. And so we're keeping ourselves enslaved to or indebted to some other entity when we could have been cleared that. Because you're not paying attention. You just got comfortable paying this recurring bill. paying this minimum payment. It's on time. Your credit looks good. You're just paying it. But in actuality, you are energetically keeping yourself in debt without needing to, without clear intention. So when I say review your resources, I mean review your resources. Where are you carrying debt unnecessarily? Where can you give in order to get back that equity towards things that are meaningful and nourishing to your soul? Now, it's imperative that you watch this whole video to really, really tap in and be clear. And the good thing is, today, tomorrow, and Friday are the most potent times, potent days. Right after, right? The morning gave us this new moon. This is the most potent energy that's going to support you in making the correct decisions about what you're going to do for your new beginning in order to create your new beginning. So you're in luck. There are 2 mantras that I've shared in the description box below. I am going to see if one of them I have already. Nope. Was hoping to have the mantra already lined up. I'm going to click here and hopefully I'm still live. If for whatever reason I jam this up, it's in the description box below, but I want to pronounce it for you. Matter of fact, you may not be able to see the chat later on. If you're watching this video, it's in the description box. Okay? The 2 mantras. The first one is to activate Lakshmi. Why Lakshmi? Lakshmi aligns us with the highest version of wealth and prosperity that is for longevity. Okay? Lakshmi is not just your immediate cash. Okay? Lakshmi is to set you up for long-term wealth and prosperity in every aspect of your life, not just your bank account. Remember, you're looking at your body, your home, your resources, your time. So she's going to be able to help align you with those energetics, those choices that keep you in that frequency for a longer period of time. And that's important because the moon is a very short movement. The moon is changing every 2 days about. Okay, so you want something that is going to help to stretch out that energy. So Lakshmi. Om Hreem Shreem Lakshmibhayo Namah. Om Hreem Shreem Lakshmibhayo Namah. Om Hreem Shreem Lakshmibhayo Namah. You're going to offer at least 1 japa, 108 times of that mantra. And then you're going to do the bija mantra for the moon's energy. Right? It's a new moon ritual. You're going to amplify the moon's energy, especially as the moon is waxing. So you're going to begin to increase this magnetic pull to help reveal to you. This is what the mantra is doing. It's helping to pull up from the darkness and shed light on those areas that I just spent this time with you, helping to highlight what you need to see and to sharpen and increase your intuition. Okay? So this is for Chandra. Om Shraam Shreem Shraum Sa Chandramase Namah. Om Shraam Shreem Shraum Sa Chandramase Namah. Om Shraam Shreem Shraum Sa Chandramase Namah. These mantras and the qualities are always available to you. You have the information about how they're relevant to this work, how to use them for this work. Now you have them as tools in your toolkit for whenever it is that you need to tap into those energies. Again, you're going to offer 108 of that japa, okay? One japa, 108 chants of that bija mantra. These two are bija mantras. They're very, very potent. And if you want to, you can chant it as many times as you want in increments of 108. But you want to do them in equal amounts because they're working together. Lakshmi and the moon together. Got it? For those of you who want the ritual, if you are part of the House of Chi Patreon, the notification has gone out. The ritual is available. We'll tell you exactly what to do. Thank you for being here with me. It's been a pleasure. Peace, love, and bliss. I see you all the next time around. All right? Peace.